This question is, I don't know, for any of y'all. I know that some of us are being required to go to court for the first return, which is the first time we appear, but also if we are called to go for a trial, what should we bring as property managers with us to prepare you and ourselves for court?
I got a phone call. I'm just right.
You didn't hear the question.
I'll take this one too. You really need to be prepared to bring the entire original resident file. I know a lot of companies are going digital. In general district court, we don't have discovery like we have in circuit court, which you've all probably heard of depositions or seen those in television and the movies. We've got requests for the production of documents, interrogatories, things of that nature, so that before we get into trial in circuit court, we've really drilled down and figured out what the issues are. In general district court, it's not like that. It's much more like trial by ambush. And you never know what they're going to come up with when they get to court. The resident might be your best friend to your face in your office, but I can promise you when we get to court, they're going to say things that you are shocked by. The work order that they submitted that you didn't respond with, the text message that they sent you on your private cell phone. Now, I'm not telling you to bring in your cell phone records. I'm telling you to direct the resident, if they do text you on your cell phone, to the right process and procedure to put in those work orders. But there'll be times when the application comes into play. There'll be times when there's a notice that we don't know about. This happens frequently where the resident brings up some issue that we did not know about. And if you have the entire original resident file with you, it's inevitably much better to be able to open your file and respond with a document that you responded to that resident with. So if we go in and you show up to court and you don't have anything with you, that's not going to be helpful, especially if the judge starts asking questions of you that we don't know the answer to, that we didn't anticipate. It's always best to have that with you, and in that file to have an updated copy of the ledger, especially if you received the payment that morning. I get into court frequently and I have a ledger that was given to me the day before and they made a payment that morning. We always really need 3 copies. I'm not telling you to do the 3 copies. I have a paralegal that does that for me. She's going to make sure that in that file that I've got 3 copies of the ledger so that we can all look at it. The judge can look at it from the bench, we can look at it, the resident can look at it, and it really does need to go back to moving. I know that sounds crazy, but back to the imported balances. I can't tell you how many times a resident will come in and they will see something. They get really smart when they're in court, and they're going to say, well, this ledger goes back to 2020, but I moved in 2019, and all that stuff in 2019 was inaccurate. And anything a judge right now can hang his hat on to not give us possession, a lot of judges are doing that. They're finding a way, they're looking for a way to not give us possession, and they will latch onto anything. So anything you can bring with you, up to and including the entire original resident file, will be tremendously helpful in court.
Now I'm going to give you the counterpoint. I know many of you are going to say that's just not practical. So if you have to make decisions, if you're not able to bring it because you are entirely virtual, then let's focus on what we know you have to have. If it's a monetary, we know you have to have the lease. If you've already sent us a lease, it's reasonable to think we've got the lease. But what we never get, seemingly, are all the addenda, all of the renewals, all of the add and drops. All of those are in your file. So yes, theoretically, if you've given us the lease and all that stuff, we don't need you to bring it because we already have it. But the reality is we get a lease and we don't have all those things. And the judge wants to see the utility of it. You either have that file, you have that document, and you get that money awarded, or you don't. And then we spend extra time in court recalculating what the ledger should be without that on it. If it's a non-monetary, guess what? We still need the lease. We need the whatever, if it's a conduct in the common areas and it involves the rules and regs, we need those rules and regs. If you haven't sent them to us, we need them. That's why we're saying bring everything. We always need monetary stuff. We always need a ledger. Seems like we always need RRP information. So there are some things that just we always need. If you have sent us photographs, understand that photographs, inevitably somebody transfers a lower resolution than they started with. And lower resolution photographs don't print out well. So we would love for you to bring full high resolution photographs, but you can always do less. What Aaron told you is the right answer to bring everything.
Okay, this question is for David. A lot of us do corporate leases to companies. Can you tell us a little bit, can you give us a little guidance on how we should be doing that?